Hey guys, welcome back. You guys are listening to Three Scoops Podcast. I'm Rod.
I'm Kel.
I'm Rob.
And today we're just going to start doing a little bit more speculation about Avengers Endgame. So, what do you guys think is going to happen? We talked a little bit about that during our trailer breakdown, but how do you guys think that this is going to go? Or how do you want this to go?
Oh, I just want Thanos to lose and the Avengers to win.
Want there to be no struggle.
Give me 5 minutes.
Right.
I really want to see timeline jumps and like we were talking before about like linking. So I really want to see pivotal events of the first movie come to play in the solution of this movie. To not just to tie them together, but to just have that feeling, that if that makes sense.
That circle journey.
Yeah.
Kind of coming back to where we started to end up where we need to.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see him set up the next 15 years of Marvel stuff. I want them to kind of jump into some multiverse things with Doctor Strange or some quantum verse things with Ant-Man. I want to see him open up paths or lanes for themselves to move into in the next 10 movies to come after this.
Yeah.
We know that the landscape's going to change dramatically following this movie. I want to see them set themselves up for success.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned the multiverse. I had been following Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and great show, underrated, by the way. But I watched a trailer for the new season, and I know you guys haven't seen it, so I don't want to talk too many spoilers on it. But you see what seems to be a different version of a character that you're used to, and this character is believed to have died, and then all of a sudden you're seeing this character right in front of you, and yet the character doesn't seem to be the same at all. And in fact, one of the other characters that's in the scene mentions something about that character being from S.H.I.E.L.D., and they basically say never heard of it. So is this character from a different universe? That's kind of the question that's brought up in the trailer of that show. Okay. So going forward, that could be where Marvel is going.
I think that would open up a lane for them too to do some of the stuff like the Marvel Comics did with the Ultimate Universe. Having some different diversifying characters, in the way of having, kind of like they're doing in the comics now, actually, again, with a young African-American female, Riri Williams, taking on the mantle of Iron Man, having Amadeus Cho, son of Helen Cho, take over the mantle of Hulk. I mean, if you're having these alternate universes, there's no reason why Thor couldn't be a Japanese guy or,
or a woman.
Or a woman, yeah. Or that. I think they're opening themselves up for that possibility of kind of having those things. And I mean, look, we have now, even just in this Marvel Cinematic Universe that we're operating in now, we have Black Nick Fury, which is from the Ultimate Universe. That's not traditional. Nick Fury was a older white gentleman,
Right.
And I'm not opposed to any of that. I think they're giving themselves room to work and kind of deal with some different character arcs and some socioeconomic and ethnic backgrounds for different characters that can kind of diversify them. And I'm not opposed to that if they do it the right way and they make it interesting.
Not just shoehorn it in.
Not just shoehorn it in for, diversity for the sake of diversity is boring, but diversity for the sake of storytelling and actual perpetration of creating something more interesting or more appealing, I think that's something that I'm open to.
When they make changes, but the changes are better.
Yes.
Not just change for the sake of change.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I've been on this ride for, just as long as everybody else. And, there's quite a few things that I'm looking forward to. Obviously, I want to see Spider-Man come back. I mean, you guys know I'm a big Spider-Man fan, but I want to see where, what happens to Tony Stark. Honestly, I hope that we don't see him have to go away. I would like to continue to see more of him.
I think he will go away. I don't think if they don't kill him off, I still think we're not going to be seeing him a lot featured in any Marvel movies. But some people theorize that he might just have like a voiceover role of like being like the voice in the suit, like the voice in the suit in Spider-Man's suit. You know what I mean? Like where communication like that, which would be nice. But I think some of these actors are just kind of done with this,
right?
As far as it's been
which ones? All of them?
Because you're going to run the risk of being like that's who you are,
typecast.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's an interesting concept too.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Apparently, these actors have like their own brain, and they try to make decisions and stuff instead of consulting us, which I really think is bad.
Yeah.
Well, in the comic run right now, or not right now, but a few months ago, with Riri Williams taking on the mantle of Iron Man, that's exactly what happened. Tony Stark's Ironheart, sorry.
Yeah.
Tony Stark's physical body was lost, and his mental capacities were uploaded into an AI, very similar to Jarvis, and that operated within her suit that was able to project holograms of himself and give her advice on combat and former enemies that he's faced and their weaknesses and battle strategies. And I think that'd be something that could be really fun to quip off of, a sassy, young inner city, black girl comes to, quip back with, sassy Iron Man, and I think that could be a cool character dynamic or a cool little personality duet there. But I could see where these actors are over it. 10 years of playing Captain America, you want to go on and create something that's more maybe artistic, or you want to do some some noir films or whatever it is that Chris Evans and Robert Downey and some of these guys that had been involved since the beginning. I mean, I could see where this takes up a lot of your time, especially with Disney owning Marvel. They tie you down to so many media obligations, so many contractual obligations. I can see where, despite the money, they want to go on. Money's not an issue for these guys anymore. They want to leave legacy behind. And these movies are great and we love them, but I could see from an artist perspective where you want your career to culminate in something more than portraying a comic book hero on the big screen.
So do you think we'll lose all of the original Avengers?
I don't know about lose, but I think we're done seeing them as the role, and that role as being the Avengers
flagship characters.
Yeah, I think we're going to have new people take over those.
I think we'll definitely see Robert Downey slip away completely. If maybe
there's also
just cameos he'll do,
and I think Captain America's going to die.
Definitely,
in this movie,
100%.
And another thing,
100%. Okay.
Another thing I was going to ask you guys about is, did you see the similarities between the Death character when Thanos is getting the Soul Stone that he's speaking with, and is a lot like the villain from Captain America?
That is who that was. Yeah,
okay. It's the Red Skull.
Yeah, that was it. That was an intentional.
No, but why is Thanos seeing that like that? Like, why is he there? That's my question.
So at the end of Captain America, Red Skull is tinkering with the space, or we come to find out that it's the Space Stone, but they called it the Tesseract back then.
Yes,
and he ends up getting.
He ends up grabbing it directly with his hand,
right?
And it finds him unworthy of possessing it, basically, and it casts him out. And according to him, in the last Avengers movie, it transported him to that planet to be the guarder of the Soul Stone. So basically, the stone cast him out.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that Tesseract has been.
But this wasn't as long ago. Okay, so in the narrative of Infinity War, when he's talking about how like he was searching for these stones. I mean, if that part's true, what he was saying wasn't true. I mean, because this was only in like 1940s that this was happening. When the Nazis were, when Captain America was happening, and now he's only really been on this other planet for not very long. Then guarding the stone, not like
80 years.
He makes it sound like he's been searching forever, and then now he's the Guardian.
Oh, well, maybe he just means it during his own lifetime.
Yeah, because now, according to that, it would be 80 to 90 years that he's been on Nidavellir guarding this.
But I would argue that him spending his life searching for this is not actually what he was doing. Like, he didn't know what he was searching for. Because he finds the Tesseract in that movie. In Captain Marvel.
Captain America, but according to that movie, if you look at the narrative of the movie, they had been searching for quite a while for the Space Stone. Do
you think they knew that it was a Space Stone?
Well, according to them, it was the jewel of Odin's treasure room because they were Odinist, white supremacist Nazis.
Yeah. Okay.
And they were searching for the jewel of Odin's treasure room, said to contain unsurpassable power. And, they knew, or they thought it would be the key to winning the war.
I can somewhat follow that.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so
sorry.
we went off on a tangent
no,
there.
but before we leave that tangent,
Okay.
So then I saw someone theorize that that in an alternate timeline, they're going to try to get the stones before Thanos gets them, and when they go to get the Soul Stone, and he meets up with the Red Skeleton again, and ultimately decides to sacrifice himself instead of whatever, and then that's why Bucky's going to take up the mantle of the new Captain America. I don't know if that's going to be true, but they think that it might have something to do with the fact that Skull guy's there, that because that was the villain from the original one.
That's plausible speculation, but Bucky also got wiped in the snap, so they would have to bring him
No, but
back.
this is a time thing where they go back in time to get the stones before. So when they go back in time,
so
everybody's still there.
Bucky from the past
Yes.
interacts with Cap from the future. Cap from the future lays down his life to get the Soul Stone or the Tesseract.
Yeah, because that was the theory I heard.
Wow. Well, I hope the movie does a really good job of explaining all this, because right now I'm confused.
You're confused?
It's easy to be.
Basically, they're just the speculation is just take it away from that Captain America's part. That the speculation is that they're going to try, like one of the ways that they try when they initially battle and they fail is that they think that if they can go back in time, they can gain the stones before he does.
Stop it from ever happening.
So every stone scene, there's some sacrifice made for Thanos to get each stone.
We don't know that about the Power Stone because that scene is not in the movie.
Exactly. They didn't show that, but
That could be a cool scene to see in this movie.
But there's also director commentary from the movie where they kind of say that the reason we didn't go into him getting the Power Stone is because everybody knows what happened. Then Thanos shows up, he battles people, he kills them, he takes the stone.
Wipes out Xandar.
That's kind of what they were like. Everybody knows that story, and there's not enough pivotal characters there because none of the main characters are there. They didn't want to just show up and just kill people. And they said it would just been like a waste of screen time. Or they're hiding it deliberately,
Okay, so we know on Xandar that the Nova Corps exists.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so by Thanos going to Xandar off screen and presumably destroying Xandar and gaining the Power Stone, did the creation of the character Nova occur
Richard Rider
off screen?
That could be
did that just happen?
Maybe.
We talked about before, Professor Hulk and some of these other characters getting introduced. Richard Rider could be a very big addition to the Avengers as a crucial team member, and I think that he's a really marketable character.
Right,
appeals to a lot of people.
Oh yeah, I used to read Nova when I was a kid. I really enjoyed the character and his powers.
And I think if they are going to wipe Tony Stark, if they are going to wipe Captain America from the series, I think they're going to have to create some new spaces to kind of keep the momentum that they're going. You're releasing a movie once a month, every other month, for every,
lately we've been getting about 3 a year.
Yeah, but they're ramping it up. If you look at the schedule for this year, we're almost already at 3.
Yeah.
And it's not even summertime yet.
The 3 this year we've already gotten Captain Marvel. Avengers Endgame is imminent, and then we have Spider-Man Far From Home.
Sorry.
Yeah, which will be this summer. Last year we had Ant-Man and the Wasp. Before that was Avengers Infinity War, and before that was the Black Panther. Mm-hmm. So lately we've been getting 3 a year, and I think that's probably going to continue.
Yeah.
At least for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think we have a Nova movie incoming. That's what I'm calling right now.
Yeah, and then even if they don't show scenes from the battle, like they might show them in the Nova movie versus.
Right. Yeah, that could occur as like a flashback that the characters or maybe even showing exactly that scene right at the beginning of the movie.
Yes, and there's also been speculation too that the death of Odin was the catalyst to start Thanos on his journey, because he knew that as soon as Odin was dead, that he would be able to gain all the stones.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Odin was the protector of the Nine Realms, right? Yeah.
I think something too to take into consideration is the acquisition of Fox by Marvel and Disney, because there are 2 X-Men movies coming out this year also, and I would be curious to see if they're going to feature. I've heard some rumors and some speculation about featuring Hugh Jackman in even just a cameo.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
In Endgame, I think that might be a little cheesy, but maybe in credit scene. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be too cheesy for that. We've seen some pretty cheesy in credit scenes.
That sounds like wishful thinking to me.
So I mean, I can be wishful.
I want Deadpool in there too.
At the same time, you know, there are 2 separate X-Men movies coming out this year, and I don't think they would acquire those superhero properties without the intent of incorporating them into the larger Marvel.
If not Endgame, definitely plans for it though later.
So are the Avengers basically going to become like this revolving door group? You know, we have these certain characters that are exiting.
What's I don't follow the comics, but I heard somebody talking about there's another like big bad like after Thanos. They were calling him I forgot what they called him, but
Galactus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So is that going to be the new thing for the new Avengers to battle?
Well, I mean, there are multiple different cosmic and universe-ending level bad guys that they can pull.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Galactus definitely being one of them.
Big draw.
Right.
Attempted.
I think
executed terribly in the first, no, the second actually.
That was
Four movie.
Right.
Four Stick.
No,
that was the one.
Not that one. No, Fantastic
With Chris
Four.
Evans actually in it is the Human Torch.
Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Yeah,
is
Rise
the
of the Silver Surfer. Terrible movie.
No, yeah.
By the way, horrible. Especially their execution of Galactus. I'm a cloud. Oh, that's lackluster.
Right. Come on, give us the giant robot-looking guy with the purple and
the acquisition. I mean, that opens up so many doors moving forward. Like I said, with the Fantastic Four, the X-Men. I mean, maybe there won't be any more Avengers movies. Maybe this is it for the Avengers as a team. Maybe they go on and they establish, do some more X-Men movies. Maybe some
new
Fantastic
teams.
Four, new teams. Yeah, they're the Defenders. Maybe they do. There's a lot.
Well, they
of
did
options.
the Defenders.
Well, they could do it cinematic representation.
Yeah,
but I mean, as far as
they do have
multiple
groups.
Limitless.
They do have multiple groups. So I mean, obviously the X-Men, which is its own thing now, but I think going forward we'll probably see that incorporated into the MCU.
Yeah.
But there's also you could go like the various incarnations of the Avengers, the New Avengers, Secret Avengers, or things like Alpha Flight, which I believe Captain Marvel's the leader of right now.
That also has traditionally had even involvement from Deadpool though, and Wolverine in the past, and Alpha Flight as well. They've been in and out, revolving door members of that team on and off.
Right.
Canada.
Speaking of Deadpool, you got the X-Force, so maybe which didn't he call it the X-Force in Deadpool 2?
Yeah, and then
everybody died.
Yeah, except for Domino.
Right.
I like the cameo in that movie too from Brad Pitt. Frying split second of being the Invisible Man.
Right.
On the power lines. Terrific cameo.
Right.
But getting a little off track.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this movie. I think there's endless possibilities for the things that they could and will do, and I think definitely setting up the multiverse, microverse, alternate timelines, alternate realities is just going to give them a way to basically tell any story that they want.
There's speculation too about the Infinity Gauntlet in Thor's or Odin's vault. Hela calls it fake, but maybe just the gems are fake. Then there's also the template that the dwarf had.
Right.
I can't remember his name in the movie.
Eitri.
He's that guy signed on for 2 movies.
Uh-huh.
So he could be in Endgame. They could make their own gauntlet if they do the timeline thing.
I didn't know that. Peter Dinklage signed on for 2 movies?
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe they're going to have their own Infinity Gauntlet. that they're going to try to fill before him, or maybe there's a lot of speculation, and also how much damage did the Infinity Gauntlet really take? Is he still able to use it fully? Because it's pretty damaged.
That could be interesting if they end up having Infinity Gauntlet versus Infinity Gauntlet, or something like that.
I saw 2 pieces of concept art for that, and one was Tony Stark's armor with the gems laid into it, and then the other one, which would make more sense to me because he's more powerful, capable of handling that energy just physically as opposed to a normal human, which is what Tony Stark is Professor Hulk wielding the gauntlet, because that hand would be roughly the same size as Thanos' hand. We saw him square off face to face.
Yeah, you're right.
That would be awesome.
Not to go out on not really a tangent, but I thought that I understand why they didn't do it, because if you make things too simple and too easy, they'd be stupid. But like immediately in my mind, like the first thing that Doctor Strange learns how to do is make those portals. When I see things, I like to extrapolate. Now, what have we seen those portals do, other than just like you have like the endless falling loop that Loki has, where he's like, I've been falling for 30 minutes. Him just jumping around, and he uses it so much in that battle. What's the coolest thing we've seen that portal do, though? You guys remember?
Cut off a hand.
Cut off a hand.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing I thought when they were holding that hand. I thought he was going to open a portal and close it.
Right.
Even if that didn't ultimately defeat him, I was like, I really thought that was.
Why did they use that there?
Yes. Yeah. Because I thought it was almost foreshadowing when they showed that portal cut off a hand. That was the first thing I thought when I saw that movie. Before they even got to the battle, I'm like, well, we just saw what that thing can do.
Or how about that portal cuts off his head?
That too, yeah.
Or have an Ant-Man run up in his booty and expand himself and explode Thanos from inside out.
I mean, maybe, right.
I like that.
Have you guys seen those memes? There's a ton of memes right now where they're having Ant-Man shrink himself down, crawl into Thanos's anus, and expanding himself to Giant Man, and then that's the end of Thanos. Like, that seems like a plausible plan. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
what are you gonna do?
That's in my 5-minute win theory.
Or his ear. I guess you could do his ear.
No, that's gotta be the ass.
Just for the sake of all the fan service, I think that'd be great. I agree.
What about? Okay, so what do you think? Like, movie-wise going forward, like, I mean, I already mentioned Nova. What else do you think that they're going to start propping up with that could potentially be coming out of Endgame?
You mean setups for the future?
Yeah.
I'm not going to even be able to speculate on this because I haven't followed the comics or enough.
Okay, so let's talk about what we know. Okay, so we know definitely for sure Spider-Man: Far From Home. That's coming after this movie.
Yes.
Black Panther.
We know that there's going to be a sequel for Black Panther.
Now, does that mean that his sister is going to take up the mantle, or that he's going to be returned?
I would imagine he'll be returned. Okay. Chadwick Boseman was such a popular actor playing that character in the movie. I can't see them not letting him reprise the role, even if Shuri does get her own Black Panther suit and couples him.
But there's also there's 2 ways of viewing it. There's the way of viewing it as that this movie takes place after Endgame, or that this movie takes place before Endgame.
I've seen a lot of speculation that Spider-Man: Far From Home takes place before Endgame.
Yes.
And that on their way back to New York on the bus from the airport or wherever, they're on the bridge, and that's when they see it, and that's when Endgame begins.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of speculation about that. So, I mean, they don't necessarily have to go in order. Or maybe if they undo the actions of the snap and it never happened, maybe that's what they're...
Yeah, and I do like, too, if it does end up... The quantum realm does end up being very pivotal in this. It really... It kind of makes use for, like, why they did that second Ant-Man movie. Because a lot of people said, like, what is this? They did this whole second Ant-Man movie, and all it was is for him to rescue his wife.
Yeah.
But it's more like, if it is...
Well, they also introduced the Wasp as a character as well.
Unless she's going to be there, she's not going to be pivotal, I would imagine, because she's already been snapped.
Right.
I just mean like
it was an establishment of all those quantum theories and mechanics and how
and
that
showing that
works.
Not only does he know he knows how to get out by himself, that he can figure that out.
Well,
I would
Janet
love
Van
to.
Dyne, go ahead.
I would love to see the Wasp as part of an Avengers movie. I really like her character.
Oh no, I like her character. I just meant like I can't imagine her being pivotal in the battle unless they do the time jump and then they're starting over. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because she's been snapped. Like I think a lot of the characters that have been snapped, if they do come back, they're not going to be pivotal in coming back, obviously, until they come back. So like in getting everything back, you're working with what we got to get them back.
I think Janet Van Dyne foreshadowed too in that end scene in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Hey, Scott, don't get caught in a time vortex because we're not going to be able to save you if you do. Yes. I mean, that's kind of implicit time travel right there. So maybe if they can replicate that technology too, there's some leaked footage where all of the Avengers are at the Battle of New York, and it looks like the aged versions of the Avengers revisiting the initial Battle of New York, but they have like a time, some sort of, it looks like a transponder on their wrist or something to that effect.
Huh.
That they're all wearing. That's definitely not just part of the green screening costume art, you know.
Right.
It's something that's supposed to be in the movie, so it looks like they all have some sort of quantum wristband on or some sort of transponder of some sort that they're all wearing.
Yeah.
Visiting previous battle scenes.
Okay, so we know those movies are coming out. We know Guardians 3 is coming out.
Yeah.
Without James Gunn.
No,
Sad.
rehired.
They rehired him?
They rehired
Yes,
him.
they did.
Yeah.
When was that?
They announced that like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm fucking totally out of the loop. That is awesome. Oh, man. Because, you know, the tweet was what, 10 years ago?
Years ago.
Yeah, and, you know, he's a provocateur at the time, you know, or trying to be.
Right.
He was a horror director primarily. I mean, come on, man, give the guy a break. So that's awesome. I'm really excited for that movie now because who are you going to get to replace him? Oh, here's a trilogy we have pre-established. The script's already done. Everything's done. New director on the third movie of a trilogy.
I'm sure you pay anybody enough money and you can get them to do it, but
yeah, well, I mean, no, I know that they could get someone, but someone that's going to step up and have the same caliber film come out because I think those are some of the strongest films of the MCU. I love the Guardians movies, man.
I like the Guardians of the Galaxy. I was not a fan of the second movie, though. I liked them, and I would watch it no matter how bad I felt it was because I liked those characters, but I really didn't like the whole movie as a whole, like the story. I just did.
You didn't like him on the sex robot planet in the snow, and then Sly Stallone comes out, and you're never gonna hear the bells of freedom at your funeral, Yandu.
No, I didn't.
You didn't like that?
No.
You didn't like Merle from The Walking Dead in blue paint calling himself Mary Poppins?
Yeah.
So much nonsensical bullshit in that movie. I love it. Can't get enough.
Okay.
So, so anyway, Guardians 3 already announced, and I don't know if they set a date for that one yet.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Like I said, I'm already calling Nova.
Yeah.
Anything else that you think might come out of this movie? Anything else that you might think might spawn for the future out of?
Some people have theorized that they're not actually going to defeat Thanos; that they're going to do the time jumps and like counteract what he did, and then he's going to be trapped in the quantum realm. Some people think he's going to be trapped on what did we call that planet or that place that Thor and the Hulk were battling?
Oh, the
Sakaar?
Sakaar.
That he's actually going to be like the new, basically ruler of Sakaar, trapped in the quantum realm. Basically, like that he's going to have like a change of heart. That he's going to see kind of like that what he did wasn't necessarily necessary for the universe, and that he's going to basically be there.
I think it's going to be interesting to listen to this recording after we've watched the movie and see how close we were or how far off we were.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with either way.
Yeah.
Like, we could be totally off, but it is
as long as it's satisfying and makes sense. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Well, what are the two things that they have to do with this movie? If you look at it just from a money-making standpoint, the only thing we can rely on Disney to do is make money. No matter what. They don't always have to please the fans. They don't always have to put out good quality content. But they have to make money because that's really all they care about. They have to introduce the new hierarchy of things as far as the lineup goes. Who's the new team leader? Is it going to be Carol Danvers moving forward? Is she going to assume the Captain America role? Because there's kind of been a dichotomy, right, between
No, I
Tony
think
Stark and Captain America.
I think she'll continue to be Captain Marvel. That's who she is.
Well, no, I'm not saying take up the mantle. I'm just saying take on the leadership.
Like the leadership
of
role
the Avengers, because there's kind of a bipartisan leadership of the Avengers.
I kind of hope she doesn't, or that they somehow establish her character in this movie to show that she will. Because to me, she doesn't have the same leadership qualities as Captain America at all that they've shown so far.
Agreed.
So,
yeah, I think it'd be a downgrade.
Yeah, they kind of showed that for Captain America back in the first Avengers movie. I mean, he quickly fulfilled that leadership role. He was like, I need you to do this, and I need you to do this, and we're going to do this. And so, but we haven't seen Captain Marvel do that at all yet.
Yeah. Well, they're going to have to find, too, the left brain, right brain personalities, the moral compass that does good no matter what they think, And then the guy
that's why I didn't know if she was going to take over this Tony Stark type role, because she kind of seems like she's a smart ass anyways.
Maybe that could be, yeah.
Who else would fulfill that role behind Captain America? Any character that we know of yet?
Well, if we put Carol Danvers in the Iron Man role, like Rob was saying, then to kind of fulfill the moral compass role, the only other person that's been alluded to is Hawkeye, but I honestly think that'd be kind of a lame replacement for Captain America.
Yeah.
You're the heart of this team. You're the, that's kind of what his wife had echoed to him in Age of Ultron.
Right.
And I don't think that would be necessarily the best that they could do.
Yeah, it's anybody's guess.
Maybe it would be Chadwick Boseman's character. Maybe it would be the Black Panther would be the new Captain America stepping up and moving forward.
You mean fulfilling that slot of leadership?
That
that's what
what do you want to call that
role?
That role, yeah, that archetype. But the other thing that they have to do besides establish the hierarchy among the heroes is establish a new threat.
Right.
You can't go from Thanos to be like, oh, and now we have Captain Boomerang. He's coming in and he's robbing a bank. Watch out, Ant-Man. We have to... There's no going back from raising the stakes as high as they've gone to just dropping back down.
Not in the ensemble setting. I mean, if they split off into individual movies, you can have that smaller villain.
Yeah.
And you don't have your friends to help you defeat. But yeah, if they come in with some lame villain that... You know what I mean?
I don't think they will.
I don't think
Whiplash.
They will. Yeah. Whiplash is back. Oh no! What are we gonna do? We've seen Tony stand toe to toe with Thanos with 5 of the 6 Infinity Stones. There's no more going back to Whiplash.
Tony made Thanos bleed. We got to remember that.
Yeah, right. 1 drop of his blood. I mean, that's there's no going back after that, man.
There's so much things too, and I don't know if I saw a theory on it, but when I was watching it, like maybe the 4th time. Not too long after, he's all that for a drop of blood, and he's got the blood on his fingers. Those are the same fingers he grabs the time stone with.
So do you think there's some sort of...
I don't think anything particular. I just wonder if that's going to be significant, the blood and the time stone. And there's also some theories that I did see about the time stone is glowing like it's active when he's taking it, and none of the other stones are.
And maybe he doesn't touch it.
Strange. And he can't actually touch it. Like when he goes to touch it, he's just touching the aura around it. He's not actually touching the stone.
And he even gives a slight, a side look to Doctor Strange when that happens. He goes to grab it, and he's like,
"Yep."
And he looks at him, and then and it slips into the glove, and he goes, "Oh, it's in there. Fuck it."
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. But also too. Speaking of lame ass Whiplash, sorry. He said that in Iron Man 2, right? He said, if you can make God bleed, then the sharks will come in the water around you. And that kind of foreshadows a little bit that Thanos, all that for a drop of blood. Hey, that's all it takes. Now we know that we can harm you. We know you're not invincible. We know that you bleed just like any other man. And
that's a good point.
You can bleed, you can be killed.
Yeah. Okay. So, Is there anything else that we want to talk about?
No, but just throwing that in there reminded me of a book that I've read that I know you guys haven't read.
What is that?
It's a superhero-esque type book called Steelheart. And Steelheart's like this practically invincible villain. It's basically like a comet comes close to Earth and everyone starts getting superpowers. Not everybody, but a lot of people, and everyone's bad. Everyone gets powers and they all abuse it.
No heroes?
Yes, but the very first line of the book is, I've seen Steelheart bleed. and Steelheart's the main villain.
Uh-huh.
And it goes back to this like flashback where he like sees something harm Steelheart just a little bit and just basically gets a drop of blood.
Yeah.
So then the whole time he knows that there's something that harms us. I don't know what caused it, but I know he can be harmed.
Right. Well, I mean, they did drive Stormbreaker like halfway through Thanos' chest. That had to have harmed him.
Yes. And that's after he's got the full gauntlet.
Right, and that was blasted through energy beam coming from the gauntlet.
That he's trying to fight it. What energy was he using? I know when you break it down, you can see which power he uses for each one by the color, and I forgot what that was. Was he just using a power, like the Power Stone against him, like when he was trying to stop that axe coming down?
That was a little bit of speculation too, is that perhaps he could have stopped Stormbreaker if he used the full power of the gauntlet, but then if he used the full power of the gauntlet,
he wouldn't have been able to use the snap.
Yeah, would it have fried it then?
Yeah.
You know, or did he see the trajectory and calculate that it was probably going to hit him in the chest and knew that he would have time enough to...
Or if he was slowed down enough, it wasn't going to completely penetrate him, even though it didn't.
Yeah.
And how hurt was he really then? I mean, was it all dramatic effect? I mean,
it looked like it hurt.
It seems like he's pretty hurt.
I don't mean like pain-wise, but I mean the whole time he was just like, was he just like, yeah, you do what you're going to do, and I'm going to snap my fingers anyway.
Yeah. Snapping your fingers in a metal glove, too. Like, come on.
Yeah. And did it have to snap the glove hand, or could he snap the other hand? Just using the power.
No, he has to do the glove hand.
Okay. Because that's, I forgot. I didn't read the directions.
Ron, you have any theories for the coming future? Anything you think we're definitely going to see?
Well, I did already call out the one. So we talked a little bit about Galactus. I'm pretty sure that we'll probably see him at some point. Who knows? I mean, maybe one of the reasons that Thanos is doing all this, I think I seen that theory online, is that he's somehow staving off an attack from Galactus. I don't know how close that is to the mark or not. But there's other villains we could potentially see. Kang the Conqueror. Well, I mean,
not a Kang fan.
Really, I read Uncanny Avengers, and there was a pretty interesting storyline going on there with him, and it mostly focused on the stuff that he was doing. He actually,
I've only seen him in the older comics, and he's always been very like tongue in cheek, like "Ain't I a stinker?" Kind of.
Oh no!
I want to be king of the world. It's like, okay, buddy.
He seemed pretty. I guess he seemed pretty epic in Uncanny Avengers.
Okay, pretty nefarious.
And for Uncanny Avengers, they brought like some X-Men characters and some Avenger characters together in a group.
Okay.
And that was led by Havoc.
Okay.
And it was pretty interesting. But Kang was their big villain that they were dealing with for many issues into that. And it had a lot to do with time travel, and he also, which I guess is his thing.
Yes,
but
very much so.
He also had brought several characters who had been long dead back to life and used them as his four horsemen. I can't remember all of them, but I remember Sentinel was one. There was the character that was like Wolverine but ended up getting killed by Wolverine.
Lady Deathstrike.
No, it was a male character. He looked a lot like Wolverine.
Not Wolverine's son, Bacon.
That's the one. Yeah,
Bacon.
Yeah, he was one of them. And
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah,
Dakin, Dakine.
Yeah. And there were a couple more. I can't remember. It's been a while, but
what do you think the chances are, though, that they bring Galactus in without rebooting Fantastic Four? If I don't see before 2021 John Krasinski as Reed Richards, I'm going to be sad. I saw that on a Reddit post, and I can't get it out of my brain.
Can't unsee it. Here's what I want.
Dwight Schrute is King the Conqueror. Be perfect.
I want them to flesh out Thanos in the way like you had described him from the comics, where like he's doing this for what you call her Lady Death. I didn't read the comic.
Oh, that.
That to me would be more compelling, and if they start showing some of that, you see like the reason why he did it, and then when he gets there, like maybe
because he's obsessed with death.
yes,
Yeah.
He's just an eco-terrorist in this movie.
Right.
You guys are ruining the universe.
It would, well, they, at the end of the first Avengers movie, there's that teaser scene with Thanos.
yes,
And
he doesn't quite look like he does now, and it really upsets me.
right, but
It's much more reddish purple.
yeah, but there, whoever that was reporting to him was saying that,
Do you remember? Sorry to interrupt you. Do you remember when we were recording that video years ago after we'd seen that and you were talking about Thanos and I had no idea who he was and you were like, and now when they show that scene of Thanos and I was like, who's the Draenei god? You know, which is from World of Warcraft.
oh right,
You're like, I hate you.
okay, so that's something completely separate. So anyway, there's that character that's reporting to Thanos, and he says something along the lines of, to attack the Earth is to court death, and then he smiles.
Yes.
So that seems like it's kind of a nod to,
or maybe they weren't quite sure how they were going to write that character yet, and they threw that out there knowing that it would be vague enough to not confuse anyone, but also specific enough to entice people who knew the story.
right?
I agree.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah. I just think it would make him more of a compelling villain because he's not as compelling as he could be.
Yeah.
You know what I really like? I like when Thanos says, "Fine, I'll do it myself," and then still proceeds to send his minions to go get all the stones.
Well, if Thanos just shows up and takes all the stones, which obviously I think he could have done, it would have been much more boring of a story.
Well, no, I don't think he could have. I don't think.
You don't think so? You don't think if he just showed up and he would have just been able to take each stone? And
No.
which stone do you think he would not have been able to take?
I don't think he would have been able to take the Time Stone with the Sorcerer Supreme, the Ancient One, in place. I don't think he would have been able to take the stone from Odin's treasure room.
Well,
for the
here's
fact that
here's-
Odin was still in play as a character. I think he had to
Yeah.
wait for these entities to pass. Ego, I think, was
I
also
mean,
checking a lot of stuff.
I
in the
mean,
universe.
after that, though, when he sends his little children of Thanos to, like, get the different stones, like, he initially sends to, like, you know what I'm saying?
He sends Ebony Maw
Yeah.
to come get the stone from Doctor Strange, the Time Stone, and then he sends the other two to get the stone out of Vision's head. You know, in my mind, I'm kind of like, what's Thanos doing?
Mm-hmm.
Chilling. He's chilling.
And what's the name of the sorcerer guy?
Ebony Maw.
That's his name, Ebony Maw. Who's the lady with the crazy? It looked like she was like riding a motorcycle when she put on her mascara.
Scratch
her face.
Yeah.
Ebony Maw and Corvus Glaive was the big guy that kind of resembled the Hulk.
The weird,
and the other
chick,
two were
the weird chick with the.
I can't remember.
Okay.
Lady Mascara and
Lady Mascara
and Sir Pussy. I got beat up by Black Widow. Dang it! God dang it! With her normal human fighting powers.
There was a Avengers event a few years ago, just strictly called Infinity, and that's they used all those characters, his lieutenant in that series, and I think that's where they come from.
So there's Ebony Maw and Corvus Glaive, and then there was Proxima Midnight.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
is
what it was.
the woman to which you're referring, and her friend Cole Obsidian.
Okay.
Hell of a name.
Another thing though with the battle with where they defeat that Maw character, it's cool, but it's not satisfying.
Oh,
It's cool. It's definitely cool.
Right.
But
Cut off his hand and leave him in the snow.
It would have been. I think it would have been better if somehow.
No, Ma's the one that got sucked out into space.
Yeah, it would have been cool if somehow Doctor Strange would have figured out how to beat him.
Oh, right. Rather than they just kind of cheated.
Just like, I saw this movie once.
You guys ever seen Aliens?
Well, yeah.
If we say it, it's okay. If we
you cannot possibly defeat me. Yeah, but this kid's seen more movies. Whatever the line was, they blow the hole. Said it was cool. It just wasn't as satisfying.
Right.
And to me,
because they didn't.
100%.
Yeah, they didn't beat him in a fair fight.
It's not just that. It was just like I like to see where especially when he presents that arrogance, like you can't possibly defeat me, and then show them how they can.
Right.
Not just like that. Oh, I didn't realize that. This whole like differential.
How come he didn't use his
pressure.
magic to seal up the?
Yeah.
I guess he was just caught off guard.
Mhm.
I like Tony's magic metal spray that just clears everything. Kind of like when Rocket was repairing the ship when Peter Quill went with his dad.
That's his handheld 3D printer.
He's got the he's got the rattle can full of fix all the components for my ship spray. Pretty tight. Like, oh, what was here? Oh, this can knows. How do you explain that? Future, bro. It's space, so you wouldn't get it.
Magic. Science magic.
Why can't Peter Quill and Yondu take turns wearing the mask and holding their breath? Nah.
No, it doesn't work like that.
No. Impossible.
Right.
What was the what's his name? Yondu's mohawk. It was like some sort of like a biomechanical mohawk, and what did it do for him?
It operated the arrow.
That's it? Just the arrow?
Yeah, his
Okay. I was just curious.
arrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like the most powerful weapon aside from Stormbreaker in the goddamn entire movie, in all the series of movies.
Very good at making lots of little holes.
Very
Yeah.
good arrow.
Lots of very precisely placed holes.
Destroys 1,000 of the highly advanced ships from the race of golden people. What are they called?
I don't remember now.
Oh yeah.
There were
No,
some
I don't
funny
remember
scenes with that. I liked that scene where they were chasing them and they weren't actually there, and they were like watching that one guy like, oh, you're gonna get him, you got this, and they're like, oh, you suck. Yeah, after he dies. That was pretty funny.
Go fuck yourself, Craig. And his name wasn't Craig, but it might as well have been.
Okay, so I think we're gonna end this one for today. We've been going for quite a while now, so
Hopefully the writers were listening.
yeah.
Disney, take note.
Right.
This is what the people want. Damn it.
At least 3 people. So anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Once again, this has been 3 Scoops Podcast. I'm Ron.
I'm Kel.
I'm Rob.
Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications.
And we'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.